Number one, why are we doing away with whole food groups? Man, don't eat carbs. Don't eat. Let's do away with. That's nonsense, guys. That's a whole lot of nonsense. When someone says, take detox supplement X, take X detox T, I'm like, what are you guys even saying? What are we doing?
Overcooking your vegetables takes a bit of the nutrients away, as well as like citrus fruits, that vitamin C, putting that in like hot water actually kills the vitamin C. So tell us a bit about how to get the best from the foods that we are eating.
Even some minerals would be affected by how we cook. It's about how you're mixing. So this is where things like what we call anti-nutrients come in. See, like traditionally how people mix milk with some traditional veggies, that also affects in our way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the element of calcium blocking some calcium found in milk, blocking some of the nutrients found in the vegetables. So at the end of the day, you're not having one nutrient. Also, like the way kitambo, the way parents used to mix up, or even sometimes people nowadays, you cook your skuma and nyama in the same pot.
Hi guys, welcome back to A Dose of Health, the podcast where I give you not too much, not too little, but just enough health information to help you make an informed decision. My name is Dr. Hope Simiu, and before I introduce our guest, this is a lovely opportunity to invite you to subscribe, to follow us on our different socials where you listen to your podcast, and just join the family. So today we're going to have a lovely conversation around what we put into our body, but before we get there, I'll allow our guest to introduce herself.
Thank you. So my name is Kamande. I'm a clinical and sports nutritionist. Been practicing for the last, I think, about 7 years now. Yes. So basically that's why I'm.
Karibu, welcome to the set. So before we usually go into the episode, we have 2 segments. So first of all, it's just a pulse check, just to find out how you're doing, where you're at mentally, emotionally. This comes from Inside Out, the movie. I love it so much. So I just want to find out how you're doing.
Where? in one word, but I think it's just everything that's going on. You'd have to be really numb not to be affected by what's going on. But it's just trying to mute out and finding a balance in all of it.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, love that. It's true, by the way, there's so much going on. And I think also on TikTok, I just saw a post of a young man who was saying that as a generation, it's like we're going to have so much trauma, and a lot of the repercussions is just that numbing. Yeah, because unfortunately we live in a capitalistic society, and you just have to keep going.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, so it's very important. And I think this is a call or an invitation to take care of yourself. Please pay attention to how you're feeling, how you're doing, your mental health, and speak to someone if you really need to speak to someone. Okay. Now, because I usually do the doctor's seat or the patient seat, and you're neither of that, I was trying to see, what do I do for you? So I said, let's just do the healthcare provider seat.
Yeah.
And I'll tailor the questions to a nutritionist, and let's see how that goes.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Don't overthink it. So the first question would be, if you were to explain what you do to a 4-year-old in 1 or 2 sentences, how would you do it?
Basically, I think it would be guiding someone on what they eat. How does food affect our bodies? And how to find a balance in all of it.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Next question. This is one I had to tweak. So we were speaking earlier, and you told me that there's a difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. So please tell us about that.
So globally,
Yeah.
or in more of the developed countries, you'll find dietitian is a term that is protected by law. So dietitian would mean someone who's gone through a 4-year undergraduate course. Yes.
Okay.
A 4-year undergraduate course and a 1-year mandatory internship. Then they sit for an exam, and then they now are called a dietitian. And mostly they would be practicing in the clinical and research environments thereabout. Okay? And then nutritionist now is anyone who's undergone some form of training in nutrition. But here in Kenya, all of us and graduates who've gone through the system and everyone, we are all lumped up as nutritionists. Be it diploma, certificate, and degree. All of us are lumped up as nutritionist.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is not really much difference. Here in Kenya, it would be now going back to the level at which you trained. Are you a graduate nutritionist? Are you a diploma nutritionist? Are you now a certificate? So the technologist, the technician, and then the nutritionist now come into play.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were in a more developed country,
Yeah.
would you be a nutritionist or a dietitian?
I would be a dietitian.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess we have some catching up to do as a country.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And it's just lining up our systems to be similar to what other systems are doing. You see now, like in medicine,
Yeah.
you guys already are almost similar to other countries.
Yeah.
But still in these other fields of health allied
Yeah.
fields, there's still that discrepancy a bit of where do you lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's true. We don't just see it in nutritionists. I think also in some pharmaceutical
Yes,
positions,
med
med labs.
yeah.
Okay. Then the next question, this is a fun one. If you had to win a grant today, what would you spend it on, or what problem would you fix?
Wow. Okay. Adolescent health and nutrition.
Okay.
I think for the longest time, that's a place that it's a field that has been ignored. And I'm getting to see now the repercussions of that okay, I won't call it ignorance as per se, of that silence is now coming out more and more. More cases of people we are getting to see is more of within the pre-puberty, puberty, and adolescent stage.
Okay.
I think we need more shifting of resources towards that age group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I totally agree. Yeah. And especially even with the sexual reproductive health.
Yeah.
Woo, is very necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Then the next question would be what's one skill or a habit that you think you possess or have that makes you a great dietitian?
Oh my God. Yo. I would think
Yeah.
I'm a great listener.
Okay.
And I try to be empathetic as much as possible. Yeah. That's why most of my clients, even once we're done, they would come back or refer someone to come and we work with them. Just because I listened and understood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think for many of us who are in the service industry, that's a very important thing to focus on, because at the end of the day, and I know it's not that you want a patient to be sick all the time,
Yeah.
but you want them to come back. So if you can do good and have the patient coming back and just doing that referral, you don't really have to spend as much money and time on marketing, because
Yeah.
you, by doing the work that you're doing to the best of your ability, is marketing. Is marketing on itself. Yeah.
And even like for me, most of my clients are usually referrals. Oh, I saw you worked with Nani. Can I come on board?
Yeah.
Or someone who I've worked with, and everyone will be asking, what did you do? Oh, I worked with. So most of my clients would be referrals from people I have already worked with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Then the last question. Now, our episodes usually come out on Wednesdays, and we like Swahili Wednesdays. So, ukitumia lugha ya taifa, tueleze mada ya leo.
Mada ya leo inahusiana na afya
Wow.
ya wanawake
Aha.
na chakula ambacho tunakula na jinsi ambavyo vitu hivi viwili vinahusiana. Yes.
We've brought, tumeleta mwenye anazielewa lugha ya taifa. Okay, lovely. So now let's just go directly into the episode. And just to give a backstory, so we want to focus on nutrition and specifically gut health with a women's health perspective. And I think why that angle is because there's so much noise today everywhere. And it's good to have some guidance, especially from someone who's a professional in that space. So just to start off, I just want to pose a question to you. What are some of the myths and misconceptions you're seeing around gut health in the internet, in the communities that you're in, that you just want to address?
Number one, why are we doing away with whole food groups? Man, don't eat carbs. Don't eat. Let's do away with. That's nonsense, guys. That's a whole lot of nonsense. Because we need all these food groups in various variety, in various portions, I would say, because our body needs all various food groups to work in various things, and the various food groups have various functions.
Okay.
So that's one of the nonsensical things I find that needs to be done away with. Then another thing, but I'm glad slowly by slowly is fading away, was the juicing thing. Like you're not eating, you're just juicing and juicing and juicing. I think that with time now we're seeing less and less of that.
Yeah.
But there was a time everyone was just juicing and doing away with food and just getting what you feel you need from juicing. I think pretty much
Those two.
Those two. Then I think maybe we will touch on this later on. Detox. I not shudder. I just feel it icks me when someone says take detox supplement X, take X detox T. I'm like, what are you guys even saying? What are we doing? Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Now let's build on that. Now that you mentioned that we have different food groups and each of them serves a particular purpose, maybe let's start the conversation there. What are the different food groups? What are their main focuses? So that someone can understand, okay, if I remove carbs or carbohydrates from my diet, if I remove proteins, this is what I'm lacking. And this is why they are important as food groups.
Yeah. So I would approach it from the element of nutrients. Okay. So nutrients are basically the building blocks of what our food is. So we have there are 5 nutrients. Then now they are divided into 2. So we have the macronutrients and the micronutrients. So the macronutrients are what's the nutrients that your body needs in large amounts. This would be your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats and oils. Okay. Then we have the micronutrients, which are the vitamins and mineral salts. Water and fiber are said to be silent nutrients, okay, but we'll still need them for the body to be able to function. So your carbs will be providing you with energy. Your protein will be helping with building your muscle and immunity. Fats and oils will also be helping with providing energy. Then vitamins and minerals comes in to help supporting various body function. You need them in small amounts, but they also are very important for the body.
Okay. And I think it's important that you've mentioned that fats are necessary for energy, but also something that I think we don't speak much about is they're very important for brain function.
Yes.
Your body actually requires fats for your brain to function well.
And also fats are very key, especially when it comes to things like with vitamins. They are what we call fat soluble vitamins. So fat has to be soluble for these vitamins to be taken up by the body.
Do you remember the vitamins? I think there were 4.
There were 4. A, D, E, K.
Yes. Okay. Now, next question is around now gut health, now in particular, because we hear so many things about like detox teas and just different approaches to cleansing your body or either weight management. And I like the fact that you've spoken about detox because I'm very particular to say that if you have a liver and a fully functioning liver, that is its sole purpose or one of its main purposes, detoxing whatever should not be in your body. And it does that in partnership with different organs, your kidney, your skin, your lungs. So that's number 1. And then now number 2, for the teas and the juices, what were some of the components you were seeing in these products that claim to help with detoxing, and why are they not either beneficial or not good for us?
So you'll find most of the time what happens or what goes into these detox teas and pills and all this is usually they'll have some form of diuretic in them. So your body is tricked into thinking, I'm getting rid of it. But ideally, if you just watch for it, it's just you're either urinating more or you're just defecating more.
So laxatives as well.
Laxatives as well.
Okay.
So that now tricks your brain into thinking you're getting rid of everything, but really you're not. So, and it usually comes with all these other effects on the side. So now with excess urination, with excess defecation, and just your bowel all over the place, and now you're having issues. Can go as far as dehydration setting in, can go as much as even diarrhea and all this. So you now have electrolyte imbalances, you're not okay, you're feeling off most of the time just because your body is being stressed as a result of, now you're even worsening it because now your liver and kidneys have to get rid of all this stress you're introducing in the name of detox. And as you said, if your liver is functioning, if your kidneys is functioning, if your skin and lungs are okay, supported again by what you're eating, which would be a whole food approach. If you're eating your whole foods, you're hydrating well, and you're okay, then that's good enough for your liver, kidneys, skin, and lungs to work as they should.
Okay, lovely. I've been having a conversation with different players, and I think something that has become more and more important is the quality of food that we're getting. And I think because of just different factors, be it the climate, be it capitalism, where maybe things are a bit more pricey than they were, or like the cost of living. Are we getting the nutrition that we need from our foods, or do we need to supplement?
Okay. So it's with nutrition, I would say it's very individualized, okay? But now from a public health nutrition approach is that the food we are getting now is not of the same quality as the food we were getting some years back.
Okay.
Because of the issue of pesticides, food is being forced to grow faster than it was before. So all this environment and toxins and everything, that already is an issue. Okay. So now again with fast living, you're getting from work, you're getting home late and all that, you're forced to resort to a very fast meal that might not really give you what you need for your body. So the issue of now supplementing would be again coming down to the individual. You would find that maybe in these meals you're eating, it's able to take care of your needs as hope now.
Yeah.
Then what I'm getting as purity is very different because maybe I'm having very little of this and that, then I would need to supplement. As it is, then now we ask ourselves, when someone is getting to the point of not needing a supplement, what is it that you're not getting from your food intake and how do we go around it? Do we need to adjust what you're eating first before now we resort to a supplement? Ideally, a supplement should not be the first thing you reach out for. It should be a matter of last resort.
Yeah.
Like we cannot fix this by fixing your diet. Then now we have to go for the supplement. Yeah.
Okay. And I love that. Maybe tell us about so now I think you're using a balanced meal approach. What does that look like?
So a balanced meal approach would mean you're getting your nutrients in your one plate within a sitting. So meaning you have an element of protein, you have an element of carbs, you have an element of fats, and then vitamin and minerals.
Okay.
So usually rule of thumb or a cheat code is to have as much color on your plate as possible. That would now be sort of a balanced meal in a way. So having at least within your plate or at least within the end of the day, you're making sure that you've had access to all these nutrients to ensure that you're having balanced meals. And this also, another cheat code would be varying your meals, not having the same meal every other time, so that you're able to get the benefit of what various foods have to offer. Yeah.
And also just breaking the monotony.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm that person who struggles with like meal prepping because I feel like by day 2 of eating the same combination of foods, I'm bored.
But I feel like even, for some people it would be that. Like,
but it works for others.
It works for others. But even with meal prep, I usually advise have at least 3 varied meals.
Okay.
So like you can do Monday this, Tuesday this, Wednesday this. So Thursday you're getting back to what you ate on Monday. So that feels a bit different. And then also not going too extreme whereby you're prepping meals for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It will also have really the boredom again, as you've said. By the time you're not enjoying it, so now it becomes more of a chore to follow through.
Yeah. Okay. I like the fact that you've talked about like meal prepping for 2 weeks because I have now a question on the longevity of us storing our food and what that does or doesn't do to like the quality of nutrients we are getting. So I know even just from our med school practice, there are certain things that can either improve the nutrient quality of your food and others that can decrease. For instance, vegetables, overcooking your vegetables takes a bit of the nutrients away, as well as like citrus fruits, that vitamin C, putting that in like hot water actually kills the vitamin C. So tell us a bit about how to get the best from the foods that we are eating.
So like the ones that are, like you said, vitamins are usually the ones, the nutrient that is the most affected, because of the element of some of the, so like the B vitamins and the C vitamin are usually water soluble. So they're usually affected very much by how we cook. So if you're boiling, if you're putting your vegetables in water for too long and also exposing them to heat for too long, they end up losing the nutrients. So you're more eating more of fiber compared to what you would be eating veggies for, which is the vitamins. Even some minerals would be affected by how we cook. It's about how you're mixing. So this is where things like what we call anti-nutrients come in. See, like traditionally how people mix milk with some traditional veggies, that also affects in our way.
Really? Okay.
because the element of calcium blocking some calcium found in milk, blocking some of the nutrients found in the vegetables. So at the end of the day, you're not having one nutrient.
Yeah.
Also, like the way kitambo, the way parents used to mix up, or even sometimes people nowadays, you cook your skuma and nyama in the same pot.
Yeah.
So you have meat having the iron component, vegetables having an anti-nutrient. So an anti-nutrient blocks the iron in the meat, so you end up not getting the benefit of iron from your meat. So it's just around that mixing and everything. Usually would be an easier way to cook. Really easy, you shorten the cooking time, but again you're doing one thing but undoing another. Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Okay. I think that's such an important one. Let's talk about other combinations. So we've talked about calcium through your milk and your traditional vegetables, or just vegetables, because things like creamed spinach.
Yeah.
Then we have now the meat and your vegetables. What are some other combinations? Sorry to interrupt, but I think if I remember, there was tea and like iron,
Yes,
especially like iron supplements, and
that's why now iron supplements, the best time to take it would be on an empty stomach.
Okay.
Because absorption for iron takes best when the stomach completely has nothing.
Okay.
So when tea comes in, the element of the caffeine, what is this other compound found in tea? So that we'd be able to block now what you're getting from iron as well. Even that's why we usually ask, there are people who, when you're eating, you have to take it with tea.
Yeah.
So we usually ask, delay your tea intake for about 30 minutes to 1 hour after you're done with your food, so that your food can be these nutrients you're getting are not blocked by the caffeine or what is found in tea. Yeah, or even coffee, even.
Because of the caffeine, This is so interesting, because I think from this, what I'm understanding is like gut health is just not necessarily the functioning of the gut on its own, but also how it's a portal for the functioning of other components of our body.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now tell me about probiotics.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's become more of a trend. Anytime you're on antibiotics, you must take probiotics. But we know, of course, there's a good bacteria that your gut and your body has in general. And some of these things we can get from our nutrition. So tell us a bit about that.
So probiotics is basically the live bacteria that is within the gut, or what we would call the good bacteria.
Yeah.
Okay. So probiotics goes hand in hand with prebiotics. So prebiotics is now what we feed the probiotics.
Okay.
So what the fiber that you feed your body, that now feeds the bacteria. Okay, because these bacteria have to survive.
Yeah.
So the prebiotics is now what helps the probiotics to work.
Okay.
So they go hand in hand. So they help the gut stay at optimum health, and they also just help with boosting and maintaining that good gut health. Okay. So this is usually disrupted. Now, when you said the antibiotics, so gut health is usually disrupted by a few things, and medication is one of them. Antibiotics being the main culprit here.
Yeah.
So when you're taking antibiotics, you're getting rid of the good and bad bacteria. So most of the time, people will be advised, take a probiotic after to try and cultivate back the probiotics or the good bacteria within your gut.
Okay. Are there some food groups that can
So
be
like
a source of...
the probiotics, fermented foods are a very good source. So your yogurt, your kefir, your sauerkraut, or your pickled, all those are very good sources of probiotics. Okay. Then now we have the prebiotics. So prebiotics you can get from things like onions, garlic, berries, oats. That's a very good sources of prebiotics.
Okay. And then I think it was even last year, I think I saw there was a not so sure if nutritionist or dietitian. She was talking about like if you're looking at yogurt or as a source of probiotics, that it needs to be written on the packaging, the type of bacteria cultured. Is that something that we need to be more aware of?
Yeah, because everyone is in the business of making money.
Yeah.
So we have to understand some of the things we find on our shelves are not really
what they say
to be. So this is where now in the ingredient part of the yogurt, you're checking on what is really going into this particular yogurt, because most of them it's just a sugar drink, it's not really yogurt. So you have to be really careful about what you are taking in the name of yogurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what should we be looking for in particular?
So lactobacillus is one of the main cultures that is very commonly used here in Kenya.
Okay.
So that is usually the main component. Even mala is a very good one. Either if you're making it at home, you have to ensure that it's being made in the hygienic conditions. Even some of our traditional fermented, like with the kisses, I struggle with pronouncing that word. That one. That one is also a very good source of probiotics.
Okay.
So those ones, and even fermented, our AIVs, African indigenous vegetables, are very good sources of that. So you find like those ones where they are fermented for some days are a very good source of probiotics.
Okay.
Even the sauerkraut, that like it's now the whole thing in Kenya right now. Everyone is
That's like
making
cabbage. It's like
sauerkraut.
a type of
it's
cabbage.
fermented cabbage.
Okay.
Then the kefir from the milk.
Okay.
Yeah. So those very good sources of.
Oh, interesting. All right. Now let's go to women. Now, because this has become more of the talk of the town, weight management. And of course, we're seeing a lot of medication involved with the GLP-1 agonists. And a big part of that, of course, is it suppresses appetite. But it's very important that as an individual, and specifically women, just because of our reproductive presence, how we are managing or navigating that journey, a nutritionist is very much important, or a dietitian. During that process. So please tell us how a nutritionist would be a very beneficial asset for someone who is going through weight management using GLP-1s.
I think before we even get to the GLP-1s, I think everyone needs to see a nutritionist.
Okay.
Let it not wait until the time now you think you have an issue, then now you want to see a nutritionist.
Okay.
I think part and parcel, even when you're going for your annual physical, gets in by a nutritionist.
Okay.
So they're able to even help you interpret some of the results you've gotten and what that would mean for you, especially when it comes to your dietary intake.
Okay.
So when it comes to weight management, and I'm glad that now this conversation is even becoming more and more. Previously, what people used to just do, you go start training, or because you've seen influencers so and so do this, then you want to embrace the self. But slowly now people are starting to understand that this is more of an individual journey compared to a one size fit all approach. Okay, and this is something I need people to understand. What would work for one person would not necessarily work for another, because our bodies are very different. So when it comes to weight management and now all these GLP-1s, it is important that you have a nutritionist at part of your care team. I know we have the physician in it, the endocrinologist in it, and a nutritionist should also
and a therapist.
And a therapist.
Yes.
These four people would help you and be part of the care team that helps you. But you're going to buy your GLP-1s or ordering them and have them delivered, and you're not understanding what is going on, that ends up doing more harm to you and good. You might have heard even now of the stories coming up where someone went, ordered a GLP-1 over the counter. Now they're having all these health issues, and it's just because they didn't get the right care team. They didn't get the right support to help them through this. So with gut health and now weight management, it is just basically what are you feeding your body in addition to being on this GLP-1 antagonist? Because you will find there's a lot of speak and talk about I don't eat, I skip, I shouldn't, I'm restricting and all that. However, the speak should be I'm supporting, I am taking care of, I'm adjusting compared to totally getting rid of. Or I'm skipping, I've reduced, I'm eating like a bird. No. It should be just how you supporting this antagonist to work, and even now supporting your other body, because your body still has to function regardless you during weight management. And also now as women, the hormone issue. Okay, so when you're introducing a GLP-1 antagonist, how is your dietary intake supporting your hormones as well?
Okay. I think agonist, not antagonist.
Agonist, yes.
I think that's very important. And by the time this episode is coming out, I think we'll have done a couple. And I had a conversation with an orthopedic surgeon as well, who said that whole cycle of you being on the journey to weight loss through medication, plus now how it affects your hormones, plus now the effect on the rest of your body, including your bones, is so important. And it all narrows down to how you're eating and what you're eating. So I think it's important here. That element of looking at it as support is very important. Okay. Now, that is the individual who's taken the medication approach. What about someone who's now physically active? And I know even with GLP-1s, like you're still physically active, but now someone who is getting physically active, maybe not necessarily to manage their weight, but just for health purposes, what is a supportive diet?
Well, with management of weight and just lifestyle, usually say diet comprises of about 80%. Okay, so this would be now, what are you looking to support? Because for the longest time, weight management has been weight loss.
Yes,
we're not looking at it from the point of maintaining. We're not looking at, because there are people who want to gain weight.
Yes.
So that's also weight management. Okay, so what is the goal in your weight management? If you're looking to lose weight, then it would mean we are reducing some of a certain nutrient and increasing another. If you're looking to add weight, we're just adjusting and tweaking here and there. If you're looking to maintain, what would that mean? Okay, and this is now for general population. If it was special population, then we would be looking at how are we adjusting and support special population. In this case, I'm talking of someone like an athlete.
Okay,
that would be a bit different. Okay, but not so different, but different. So that is what it is. So you find like someone who's on weight loss, the weight loss journey, it's a tend of a low carb kind of approach compared to someone who wants to gain weight, where we are slightly increasing the carbohydrates for them. Okay, then someone who's maintaining, we're now maintaining almost everything within a certain balance. Okay, so you find someone who wants to maintain, we are splitting the plate into three, where the three parts are equal. But someone who's maintaining, who's losing weight, the plate suddenly changes a bit, where the veg is a bit more, the protein is a bit more, the carbohydrate is a bit less. For someone who wants to gain, the carbohydrate and protein are slightly more compared to the veggies, but still all this balanced to take care of their needs.
Okay. And I love that. Of course, we must maintain vegetables, very key.
Yes.
And because of fiber, and I think fiber is something that we really need to pay more attention to, because it definitely stabilizes our gut mobility. Your bowel movements, all that, mostly fiber is the major element there. So what are some key food groups that are high in fiber that you recommend for us to indulge in?
So with fiber is in two elements. So there's a soluble fiber and the insoluble fiber.
Okay.
So the soluble fiber is basically what helps with moving food through your gut. Okay. So this is now found in some foods like our whole grains. Okay. Some of the flours we used to cook. Okay. Some fruits as well. So the fruit that you eat and does not have that stringiness, that is a soluble fiber fruit.
Okay. Like a watermelon?
Yes.
Okay.
Then now the insoluble is the foods that have easily way of identifying, like a mango. You see the way it has that stringiness. Okay, that's like an insoluble. Then veggies, some veggies have very high amounts of insoluble fiber. Okay, and even some cereals as well. So the insoluble fiber now is the one that helps you pass an easy bowel movement. You're not struggling with that. So that's why. Also, fiber is very important because, as you said, it helps food move through the gut. If your food is low in fiber, then the issues of now bloating come in, the issues of constipation come in, or you're struggling even to get a bowel movement in. And that's even now with people moving from time to time, finding someone is saying, I'm so busy, I can't have time. But you need to have a proper bowel movement for your body to be able to function, because if you're not having good bowel movement, then your gut starts becoming sickly, then all the other issues now that comes from a sick gut come into play.
Okay, very important actually. And sorry, even as we're talking about movement of food through your gut and through your bowel, especially with hard stool, hemorrhoids are some things that we'll be dealing with if you have constipation or just hard stool. So it's very important. And then also fiber is important for bulk forming. It makes your stool solid enough so that it can pass through. So it's not diarrhea like. Okay, then I think let's talk about where has it just skipped my mind? Yes, because you brought it up now. Everyone lives a busy life, And even as you're going to work, sometimes you miss a meal or two. So what is the recommended number of meals in a day? And I think this is the more relevant question. How would you advise us to position ourselves to get the best nutrition in a busy day?
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not an advocate for skipping meals.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that inconsistency alone in mealtime usually will be a disruption to your gut health.
Okay.
So one or two times fine. But if you've made it a lifestyle that, me, I just skip. The way clients come to you and just tell you, may I skip Nini? May I just skip? May I skip? And you've made it part of your lifestyle. Now your body has adjusted to that skipping of meals, that now you are slowly not listening to your body. Your body will give you the hunger cue. But because you have adjusted for so long to skipping a meal, now you are ignoring it. So your body has found a way of adjusting. But the issue with that is that you will end up at some point having to compensate for that. And this is where you find, like, busy Kenyans, what happened? In the morning, you've skipped breakfast. You get to the office, you have your 10 o'clock, if it is there, okay? You get to lunch, if you have the time, you run to your nearest kibanda, or if you carried, fine. But some people as well will skip the lunch. Then you get home, jioni, what are you doing? Bonge lako la ugali pale. Now you're compensating for everything that you missed out during the day. You want to get during this one meal. But usually I would advise that spread out your meals, okay? And it's as simple as just carrying a banana or two with you, carrying that bottle of water with you, having a packed lunch for you. And it can be, you don't have to wake up in the morning and start cooking a fresh meal. What you had for dinner, pack a plate and carry it with you to work. If your workplace provides food, well and good, have some of that. But don't adapt to skipping all this and then having... So it differs from person to person. There are people who would do 3 meals in a day with 2 snacks in between. Some people would be good with 3 meals. So ideally, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner is good enough. If you can get a snack in between, then that's even better. But then again, coming back to the individual, you have to understand, there are people who can't wake up and just have a meal immediately. So this is now where we come in and say, okay, fine, you can't have it. Can we push it a bit into your day that you're not completely doing away with it? Because now this is where now you find now, by the time it's getting to lunchtime, you're groggy, you're angry, you don't want to leave. And it's just your body communicating to you that I'm hungry.
Yeah. And when they say hunger with an A.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Now, because we know that when it comes to health, even gut health, it's not something that exists as an island. So what are some other supportive, healthy choices or lifestyles that can also be supportive functions to improve our gut health?
Okay. So gut health does not exist as an island. So gut health support, almost everything within your body is supported from the gut. So something that comes into mind easily is the gut-brain axis. Okay. So the gut-brain axis is just your gut and your brain communicating to each other and supporting each other. What you feed your gut will affect how your brain comes into place. And this, like now with me being the mental health awareness, just some of the symptoms that we see even coming out, if you can easily trace them back, would be just how are you feeding, how are you eating, what are you doing. Okay. So the gut in some cases, or in some instances, is even referred to as a second brain because it controls a lot of the processes. Your lifestyle, again, going into the gut, how is your heart health, how is your kidney health, out of what you're feeding it. Okay. So basically all that, how your mood is, how your immunity is traced back to the gut. Yeah. So that's why it doesn't exist as an island. It's very supportive of all the things that are going on. Yeah.
And I think I can add to that your sleep as well. Your consumption of even illicit substances, alcohol and things like that, it also impacts your gut health. And especially, let's talk about alcohol and smoking, because there are many people who are living with ulcers and then they're not aware that chronic drinking, and especially hard liquor, is a contributor to gastric ulcers. And also smoking, because of that constant inflammatory process that's ongoing. And we're seeing more and more cases, especially attributed to smoking, of esophageal cancer, which of course impacts your gut health.
Yeah.
So I think also some of these lifestyle choices that we have are very important. And this is also mentioning illicit substances that we really won't speak on now. That is also a contributor.
And that's why, even because you will find, I would advise, if and anyone, when you feel like just going out and you want to indulge, make sure you've had a proper meal. You don't want to go taking hard liquor without anything on your stomach, because hard liquor on a mucosal membrane, we know what that constantly will be eroding at it.
Yeah.
But if there is food and there's something, what Kenyans we like calling weka foundation,
yeah.
that is very key, because at least by the time you're having, and it even slows down the absorption of that alcohol compared to being on an empty stomach and the results that come from it. So even now with the smoking thing, the gut being inflamed constantly, now the issues of gastric ulcers, also the issues of, you find someone is complaining, I constantly will be feeling very low or something, gut brain axis.
Okay. Now, just because we're almost winding up, two things. I think it would be important to touch on the foundations, which is children. How can we ensure that the kids are getting the best out of the food that they're consuming, just from a nutritional perspective? And I think we can also tie that into some of the added benefits that we put now, the fortified foods, and what are some of the nutrients and minerals that we are required in some foods that we have. I know, like salt, iodine. Yeah, maybe you can touch a bit on that.
So for kids, it starts all the way from the mother.
Yes.
Okay. So like during pregnancy and postpartum, how is the mother's gut during this process? Because a kid's, let's start from the infant. An infant's gut is mostly what the mom is giving them. Okay. So if this postpartum mom's gut is already in shambles, then the kid's gut will also be in shambles because of the immunity factors that the infant is getting from the breast milk, which is very impacted on by how the mom's gut is. The quality of breast milk that is going into this kid. So once from infancy, then now we are moving to child or toddler and the weaning and everything. So the quality of milk. But good thing now, we are slowly seeing a slow change that is coming in the quality of meals. Previously we used to feed our children or our young children very carb heavy meals. You find you're introducing them to bananas, potatoes, pumpkin and everything all at once. Then you're delaying you're delaying the protein. But nowadays WHO has said we can start even eggs at 6 months. So introducing them to all these things early enough would be good enough. And then now you're able, because most mothers would have the concern of allergies, but it has been found that now the earlier you introduce them to such things, the better it is for them, and you're able to pick out if there is an issue with that particular so you're now and with children now, you're mostly careful about what you said, iron, because breast milk does not have as much component of iron in it. So you want now to constantly, you're introducing them now to the other things, the protein sources, the vitamin sources and the mineral salt sources, so they are able to get this. And then also calcium, because there is even right now we are now seeing a certain increase in deficiency of calcium and vitamin D. So now this will show in kids as rickets, because now all of a sudden our meals are not adequate in these two. And we know now, especially being in sub-Saharan Africa, most of our vitamin D, we usually would have gotten it from the sun. But with urbanization, we have less playing fields and all that. So now that has now become now where we are having foods having to be fortified with that, so it's able to take care of this public health issue that is coming up. So it's just checking on this, and you'll have people saying, my kid does not eat, my kid does not eat, my kid does not eat. So how do you find a way around it? From what they love eating, what can you introduce them? And that's why you find that introducing a kid early to some of this food would easily take care of that. So that you're not introducing it too late into them, then now you're having the issues. If you're able to introduce a child earlier to some of these food sources, then it becomes quite easy to deal with.
I think that's actually important, and maybe we won't get into pregnancy because that's a whole other topic on its own. But I think it's very important that even as you're going through the pregnancy journey, that you're very particular on the foods that you're eating, and getting nutritional support is an important element in that particular journey. All right. Now, the fortified foods. What are some of the ones that, apart from, you've mentioned now iron, I think, iodine, is there anything else we need to look out for?
So some of our flours, vitamin A and
Okay.
D, are the, especially now in Kenya, because most of the time when it comes to fortification, it's usually guided by the public health guidelines of a particular country.
Okay.
So like here in Kenya, you'll find iodine, vitamin A and D are usually the ones that are on the higher to take care of our issues here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very important for us to read what is in the
So
foods
like,
that we're eating.
so like some cooking oils would have fortified with, some flours will have fortified with, even some rice will have that fortified with,
and porridge as well.
yeah, porridge as well.
Okay, all right. So actually, there's something that we can't leave before talking about, and that's the menstrual health cycle. And also now, because perimenopause and menopause are something that we're talking more about, and we just want to see how gut health and just nutrition in general ties into these particular areas. So maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
So like with the gut, a lot of hormones are coming from the gut, right?
Yeah.
And even some of the hormones that now support the menstrual cycle will affect just how the gut behaves. Okay. So usually some of the gut changes you're seeing during the cycle is just how the gut is behaving. So for example, during follicular phase, okay, where estrogen is high,
It's going up.
progesterone is going low. So this will usually affect the motility of the gut. So usually during this phase, you're finding you're having easier bowel movements during this time. Okay. Then also approaching the ovulation time.
Yeah.
This is where you're finding also the progesterone is at a certain level.
It's still low.
The
Progesterone is low.
estrogen is at a certain level.
Yeah.
Again, you're feeling less bloated when you're ovulating and your bowels are very okay. But as you are approaching the luteal phase now,
Where it all goes wrong.
everything is in shambles.
Yeah.
It's because what is happening,
Progesterone
is
going up,
and estrogen is
down.
so this is where now the bloating is coming in. You're constipated,
Or having diarrhea.
yes,
Yes.
and it's just because everything is all over the place. Then also how you're also now when the menstruation is happening, how is your bowel movement going on during this, the diarrhea, the gut, the cramps and everything, and it's just because of how your hormones are, and now that infects also. Okay. And also you will find that even within your gut there's an enzyme that is usually released to just see how the estrogen behaves. So if this enzyme is disturbed, or when the gut is disturbed, this enzyme ends up and making sure what happens is that the estrogen is now excessive of it within the gut, ends up having, or it ends up exacerbating some of the issues we see with some women with some issues like PCOS. IBS is now more in such women just because of this gut being imbalanced. Okay. Then also now what happens, especially now in perimenopause, where all these hormones have done what, have plummeted down. So
they're starting.
They're starting now to plummet down, and now moving into menopause itself. So now you find more women complaining of bloating during this time, more women complaining of constipation during this time. And even some cases we have seen is that you had never had a food intolerance before, but all of a sudden, because these hormones are having issues, then now you're having, all of a sudden you can't tolerate a certain food, you're having sensitivity to a certain food, and it's just because of these hormones and the gut communicating between themselves.
I think that's very important, and this is just a term I like making reference to, proctalgia fugax. During your luteal phase, when you go to the bathroom and you have a cramp, an anal cramp or spasm that is so painful, you have to drop everything or stop whatever you're doing. Progesterone, your hormones are the key player there. And sometimes you don't understand that. They're definitely related. So I think that was very important to mention. So even as you're with your gynecologist, your nutritionist, what you're eating, and just the effects of all these processes on your gut, very, very important. But I'd like us to go to beyond the clinic now. Just a few other questions that you can answer. Don't overthink it.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So the first question is, if you had to text a simple, actionable health tip to your patients or your clients right now, what would it be?
Drink more water.
Okay. And we haven't talked about water, so tell us more about that.
Yeah, so drinking water, hydration. I think this is something that people do not see what water can do, and water would be the difference between you having a smooth bowel movement and you constipating. Okay, water would be the difference in you how you regulating your temperature. Okay, water would be the difference in how is your digestion going on inside you. Are you feeling bloated for a longer period of time compared to someone who's well, but this again is individualized. So people who are in hot environments, their water intake would tend to be higher compared to someone who's in cold environment. And even for us, where we find during cold seasons you're not drinking as much water compared to when it is high, when it's hot. So again, also the kind of physical activity you're in, if you're a very high intensity workout person, then your hydration would be going very high. Okay, then also just ensuring that you're taking care of your hydration, having that water, having that tea, because hydration now is water and other fluids as well. So ensuring that you're taking part of, if you're not someone who enjoys plain water, you can add your lime, your lemons, and all these things just to make your water palatable. But ensuring at least you're having some water in you.
Okay.
At the end of the day. And then also, because you can also eat your water from things like watermelons.
Oh, I was so confused there at some point. I was like, wait, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Watermelons, where most of it is almost water, like 90%.
Yeah.
Your lettuce, your cabbage, your tomatoes. So having those as well, ensuring that you're having that just hydration. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very, very important. Okay, let me see if I have an answer for that. I think just from the conversation we've had today, I would say, yeah, speak to a nutritionist. Yeah, I think it's important to understand the impact of what we're putting into our body and not just along your gut, because I know, of course, the gut is the entry point, but also just the rest of your body. It's
and
very
that's
much
true.
important.
And even now for us as women, maybe as a follow-up conversation, how our hormones and the gut are interacting with each other. All these symptoms that we see during our cycle, how are they related to our gut, and all these issues we see, because when you're having quote unquote the period poos, how is that coming? And it's just because certain hormones are high, and now what you're feeding it to support through that, and it's just how that connection is.
Definitely. Okay, next question would be, what's the first thing you do for yourself in the morning, or the last thing you do for yourself in the evening, just for your own sanity?
In the morning, I don't do early morning meetings.
Okay.
Unless I have to.
Okay.
Because I need to thaw in the morning.
Okay.
I need to thaw. So I'll not be, I don't reach out from my phone the first hour of waking up.
Oh.
Yeah. Just to be able to ease into the day. Because with everything that's going on, you don't want to open your phone and the first thing you're seeing is something that will get you very angry. So intentionally, unless I really have to, or maybe I was waiting for something that I needed to check on, intentionally I don't reach out with my phone first thing. So the alarm rings and let's wait. Yeah. Then
It's a nice way to start.
last thing I do to the end of the day, I make sure my to-do list for the next day is done.
Okay.
So that by how I'm going to rest, I know this is what I need to prepare for. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's nice. I'll try. I can't promise, but I'll try. Okay. Then the next question is there a moment where you've thought the body is really crazy for doing that? It might be positive, it might be negative. You decide.
Oh yes. Like when I feel sort of stressed.
Yeah.
Okay. Or when I'm undergoing a certain period of something unsure, my body screams in ways that I'm like, stop the drama. Like, stop the drama. Like, your appetite is off. You don't want to eat. Then the tension, headaches. And I'm like, really? All this just to tell me relax?
Imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. I think stress in itself, I'm just like, can you just manage it on your own body? Like, don't tell me
Like, don't
we are
scream.
stressed. Just manage it. Like, do something.
Be at the back room, manage that. Don't scream it.
Yeah. And I think you've raised an important point of like the relationship between stress and even just your diet, your gut health, because I think people don't really understand that stress is also a contributor in gastric ulcers,
yeah.
first of all, just your gut health in general, your absorption, your appetite. So it's very, very important that if you're stressed, you find a way to manage it, because it not only affects your diet or your gut health, like your entire body.
Everything, because during stress, what is released? Cortisol. When cortisol is released, what are you eating? You're craving for fatty foods. You're craving for very high carbohydrate foods. What does that do at the end of the day? And then also with chronic stress levels, the cortisol everywhere, varied appetite issues coming in. So yeah, pretty much.
So you're saying I'm always stressed because I'm always craving carbs.
Conversation for another day.
Okay, 2 more questions and then we're done. Is there a piece of health advice or information that you previously subscribed to that you don't necessarily subscribe to anymore?
You don't need a whole bag of supplements.
Okay.
You don't need it, especially as someone who's just in general population. You don't, why are you taking 10 tablets in a day? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. And I always mention this quote when someone talks about supplements. Steve Jobs once said, if you don't eat your food as medicine right now, in the future, you'll eat your medicine as food. Yeah. So if you can eat your food, do that first.
Yeah.
Do that first, and then you can supplement later where the need is or where it's necessary. Yeah. Okay. Then the last question is, what's a health rule you think we should break every now and then? Just once in a while, like, just calm down. It's okay. Let's just break.
Listen to your cravings. Listen to your cravings. Because I personally, I don't subscribe to the cheat day mentality.
Tell us about that.
Because what happens with a cheat day? See, it's where you're eating healthy Monday to Friday. Then Saturday, Sunday, you want to indulge. And the danger with this is that you will tend to overindulge because you do not know the next time you're going to have what you are cheating on. So if you're craving, and even I tell my clients this, and they would even tell this to you. If you're craving that piece of cake, have it. But what kind of quantity of it are you having? If you're craving ice cream, have it. But you're not sitting down with a whole tub of ice cream and having it. So listen, by the time you're craving something, your body is definitely telling you what is it missing. Because a craving is something that basically the body is missing but not having.
Yeah.
So having just that one scoop will be fine. But now you're not having it every day.
Okay.
At that time, small amount, then it goes away. Compared to you holding it the whole week, then now you want to sit with your tub of ice cream. Yeah.
That's nice, because it's like you're teaching yourself discipline.
Discipline, yes.
So that, yes, it's there, but that doesn't mean you have to finish it, or that doesn't mean that it's a now thing. Yeah. Okay. Sawa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
This has been very informative. So this is the time to plug yourself. Where can people find you?
Okay. So you can find on IG at KulaZuri_Nutrition. So once you get to our page, our WhatsApp number is there, our email is there. Reach out with any inquiries, then we'll be able to take it up from there with my team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do local or even international?
Both.
Okay. So if you're in the diaspora, she's also here for support. All right. My name is Dr. Hope Simiu. Thank you so much for joining us. Apologies for my voice because I'm recovering from a flu. But please be sure to like, to comment, to share, to subscribe. And yeah, that's a wrap.
Thank you.